Let's imagine for a while that everything that you ever wondered about the paranormal or the supernatural were actually true. Everything from guardian angels to demons, from leprechauns to poltergeists, aliens to Bigfoot, and all the urban legends all really happen. Let us not always trust the claims of science. I'm Rikki Rockett. I am the drummer for Poison, but on my spare time I love checking out urban legends and ghost stories, and I upload about once a week, so if you haven't already subscribe, hit that like button if you like this video, and set your notifications so that you're notified when I do upload a new video. I also have a Patreon channel. I'll have a link right here, and you can check that out. Without further ado, let's talk about ghosts. There are loopholes, and scientists are no stranger to those loopholes. When scientists have turned out to be wrong in the past, it was often because they hadn't yet explored some very tiny or very large distances. Newton's law, at the same time, is both correct, but it's also incomplete, because they cease to apply at or near the speed of light, where Einstein's theory takes over and applies. So it is possible that what we know about the universe is not really wrong, but maybe it's just incomplete. Have you ever wondered, are ghosts real? A 2013 Harris poll found that 43% of Americans believe in ghosts. An earlier UK survey found that 52% of participants believed in the supernatural. As a legend tripper, I feel like my job is to open the door and see what's in there, so to speak. But not to judge someone's beliefs, but more to investigate that belief and see where that maybe comes from. Is the ghost the soul of the dead? This is the popular belief. I mean, can you measure a person's soul? What's the proof? There was actually an experiment called 21 grams. The 21-gram experiment was in 1901, and a Dr. Duncan McDougall did a series of experiments to try to find out if the body lost weight at the time of death. He used only 6 patients and measured their weight alive, and then he measured their weight after death. McDougall found that the body lost 21 grams after death. He also weighed dogs at death because his religious belief suggested that animals do not have a soul. And he found that dogs did in fact weigh the same before death as they did after death. But his work was heavily critiqued because he was believed to have used very flawed methods to begin with. Other scientists have noted that at the time of death, there seems to be a sudden rise in body heat, and the temperature, as it goes up, the lungs are no longer cooling the blood, and it causes a subsequent rise in sweating, which could easily account for McDougall's missing 21 grams. Dogs do not have sweat glands, so they would not lose that weight. McDougall was hoping to run experiments to take photographs of souls, but he appeared to not have done any more research in the area. He died in 1920, and all those years later, still his experiment has never been repeated. Maybe we shouldn't repeat it. So can you exhibit a ghost? This is the big thing. Can you exhibit it? You must be able to see or experience a ghost in some way to believe it. That's at least what we think. Well, we legend trippers put ourselves into a position to experience them. This is called ostension. What is a ghost? Well, according to believers, a ghost is the spirit of a dead person that is either not moved on to the afterlife or has returned from it. The definition of a spirit can vary. Some describe it as a person's soul, while others believe it is an energetic imprint that a person leaves on the world. Humans have believed in or been skeptical about ghosts for thousands of years. There's been constant arguments. They've even mentioned it in the oldest known written work of literature. Ghost stories are part of cultures, folklore, and although the details vary considerably from region to region. So what is a bioplasmic body? The living body is the aura, Atman body. The inner aura is known as the bioplasmic body, and it's what surrounds the visible physical body. Now, I'm looking at it as scientifically as I can, so here are the arguments for ghosts. People tend to have more ghostly experiences in places that seem to be the most haunted. This is true, honestly, regardless of whether the person has any prior knowledge of that area or its ghostly history. There was another experiment called the Philip experiment in 1972, and it's a parapsychology experiment that was conducted in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to determine whether subjects can communicate with fictionalized ghosts through expectations of the human will. So basically what they did, they created a character and then willed to conjure that character. The experiment has been criticized for lacking solid controls, of course, and providing ambiguous results due to the unreliability of seances. Repeated tests which created fictional characters, later named Lilith and Humphrey, yielded similar results under similar circumstances and were deemed inconclusive. Overseeing psychologist Joel Witten concluded, finally, that the effects were produced by participants as a subconscious defense mechanism, causing their behavior to regress to a childlike mentality. My personal issue is this: who comes up with these theories? And just because you say it falls under this theory, does that mean it's correct? Maybe the researchers are just trying to file the phenomenon under, I don't know, some category. So let's face it, some cultures and some beliefs see psychology as a fraudulent science in and of itself. Now, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that there is always an argument for every other argument. And this is why things aren't always as they seem. We want the world to be black and white, with answers, especially when it comes to ghosts. But there is a lot of gray area, and not everything is a math problem with a perfect 1 + 1 = 2 outcome. Some ghost explanations are simple. People can hallucinate or mistake reflections, shadows, unidentifiable noises for ghosts. Even carbon monoxide poisoning can create a pressure on your chest and hallucinations and a feeling of dread. Especially in a lot of old houses, you have these gas leaks. So all these things have to be looked at. Here are a few things that are not necessarily true. That ghosts only come out at night. Now, there's a lot of reasons to ghost hunt at night. The world quiets down as the day fades away. Some locations that will only let you enter after the close of daytime or after business hours, and it's always much creepier at night. And most importantly, it's the best time to play with your sweet night vision camera. But if you want to chase ghosts, you can just as well effectively do it during the day. I mean, according to most parapsychologists and paranormal researchers, it might even be more effective time because that's when the dead were probably most alive. Here's the kinds of hauntings. Intelligent haunting. That is an activity resulting from an aware ghost or spirit that interacts with its environment. As Alexandra Holter said, I see you, you see me.
Intelligent haunting is where I see you and you see me.
Intelligent hauntings have a type of energy that does have a consciousness. These spirits or ghosts, depending on what you believe, have been accounted to interact with living. There are many possibilities why an intelligent spirit may elect to stay on our physical plane. Residual haunting, that's a repetitive paranormal activity resulting from the energy or imprint of a person or event in time. And that's something that most legend trippers experience. A shadow person. It's commonly reported inky black humanoid entity that moves fast, and it's often spotted out of the corner of the eye. And it's been interpreted to be anything from a ghost to a demon to an alien to a time traveler or some interdimensional being. Spirit, as opposed to a ghost. You know, spirits can oftentimes create like a soothing feeling to loved ones, a sort of comforting presence. A spirit is normally the soul of the deceased, who lived probably a somewhat average life that is crossed over and exists in a spiritual or metaphysical plane. Now that you have a basic understanding of ghosts, spirits, and basic hauntings, I want you to tell me and leave a comment down below, what do you believe? As a legend tripper, I tend to just want to leave the door open. I don't want to close the door on any possibilities, because one never knows. If we go back to the science, all I know is there is a lot of shoddy evidence. To the people that fake hauntings, forgive me for being upset, but it just makes any job of a paranormal investigator, a legend tripper, anybody that wants to find out more about this stuff makes it hard. Please don't fake your stuff. This is Rikki Rockett. This is Legend Tripping. I'll be back next week with another episode. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but it'll be awesome. Anyway, take care of each other and keep rock alive.